the protein powder sold in pharmacies and supplement stores still raises many questions for you. Is it necessary? Does it harm my health? Does it contain dangerous substances? How much do I have to take? When do I have to take it? How is it produced? Is it a supplement? Is it a food? Is it a doping substance? I'm sure you've heard a friend, family member, or even a health professional comment on how protein, and especially protein powder, damages your kidneys or your liver. Is this true? Luckily, these prejudices and myths are less and less heard, and today we have plenty of evidence to solve these doubts that I just raised in the introduction. So today you're going to join me while I explain what happens in your body when you consume the most consumed supplement in the world, along with creatine, whey protein. You'll see that far from being just a supplement for gym people, whey protein is closer to a food than a supplement, and it has more than useful applications for very diverse population groups. First, we need to know what whey protein is and where it comes from. Whey protein comes from a part of milk called whey, which at first glance is like a yellowish water-soluble liquid that doesn't look very appetizing. Cow's milk protein is made up of approximately 80% casein and 20% whey protein. Actually, whey protein is a byproduct that we get in the cheese-making process, and until a few decades ago, it was completely discarded due to its uses and nutritional value being unknown. When we artificially add a coagulant like rennet or quinine to the milk, the curd and the whey separate. The curd is rich in another familiar protein called casein, which we can discuss another day if desired. While the whey is rich in different high biological value proteins, which are just the ones that make up the whey protein. Cheese is made with curd, casein comes from cheese, and with whey, the whey protein. In summary, when you add coagulants to milk, it separates into a solid part, curd, rich in casein, which forms cheese, and a liquid part called whey or milk whey. Subsequently, through industrial filtering and dehydration processes, these whey proteins are converted into powder that you add to yogurts, to the milk itself, to the enteral supplements you receive in the hospital, to water, or to your coffee. The concentration of proteins and their denomination, isolate, concentrate, or whey protein hydrolysate, will depend on the filtering and hydrolysis processes. Although almost all existing whey protein comes from cows, any milk-producing animal can generate whey protein from buffaloes, camels, llamas, and even humans. Now, is whey protein the best protein there is? To know the answer, we have to use tools that assess the quality of a protein. The currently most used method is called the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score method, which values both the amount of essential amino acids from a protein source, those that you cannot synthesize yourself, as well as the digestibility of these amino acids, how well you absorb them. The maximum protein digestibility corrected amino acid score is 1, which would be a perfect protein source in the previously mentioned terms. As you can see in the image, both the concentrate and the isolate of whey protein, which differ in the amount of protein basically, have a protein digestibility corrected amino acid score of 1, the best, on par with whole milk, chicken, or egg. They are closely followed by plant sources such as isolated soy protein or pea protein. Therefore, whey protein is an excellent quality protein with very good digestibility, but it is not the best nor is it irreplaceable. I want to clarify that the argument about protein from a jar being fake and protein from chicken being good is also invalid. The claim is completely false. Whey protein is simply the highest quality protein found in milk, presented in a highly convenient form. It's done. Is it irreplaceable or necessary? The answer is no. Is it useful in certain situations? Of course it is. Now we will see in which of those situations whey protein can help you. You may know the first two, but stay until the end because the last 5 will surprise you. Hypertrophy in the context of a caloric surplus. This is the most widespread use of whey protein to help your muscle grow. For the muscle cell to grow, a process called muscle protein synthesis has to occur, which is stimulated by whey protein, specifically by some amino acids present in it, such as leucine. Firstly, a series of anabolic proteins are stimulated that we collectively call mTOR, although more things are needed for this to happen. You need to be in a caloric surplus, that is, have an excess of energy to use in muscle building, and also you need to train. You need a mechanical metabolic stimulus, which is strength training, using weights, your body weight, bands, or any other method. Remember that without physical exercise, you can take all the whey protein you want, but it will not be used to build muscle, but to generate glucose or to oxidize. Unused amino acids oxidize to produce energy, although they yield much less energy compared to fats or carbohydrates. What is the only way to gain muscle with hardly any training? Through pharmacology, something I strongly advise against. In summary, if you take whey protein, train strength. Second point, avoid muscle loss in low-calorie diets. Protein also helps prevent muscle loss, a lesser-known function. If you are overweight and obese and want to lose 10, 15, 20, or sometimes 30 or 40 kilos, the best thing you can do is increase the protein content of the diet. This is because it helps you decrease your appetite, it is hardly transformable into fat, and it preserves your lean mass. In any weight loss diet, you will also lose muscle, approximately a quarter of the weight lost. This is disastrous and misleading. Misleading because you can be very happy losing weight, but up to a third of that weight may be muscle. And disastrous because it is well known that the less muscle, the easier it is to regain the lost weight. So the stricter the diet you're on, the more protein you should add to it. Or in other words, the greater the caloric deficit, the more the amount of protein matters. The problem is that when we talk about high amounts of protein, like 2 grams per kilogram per day, for example, or higher, it's difficult to get it from food alone. And this is where whey protein is very convenient because of its ease of administration. That is, without being indispensable, it is a very convenient supplement food because it provides a lot of protein in a small volume and in a liquid format, which is less filling by nature. For example, I'm sure you can take a glass with 40 grams of whey protein without flinching, but to get the same amount in chicken breast, you would have to eat about 200 grams of breast. If you're hungry, this will be easy, but if you're not so much. Third, avoid sarcopenia in old age. If you're like most, you'll identify whey protein as a supplement for strong young people. But what if I told you that supplementing with whey protein makes even more sense in older people than in young ones? And my arguments are as follows. As you age, you develop what is known as anabolic resistance. What does this mean? It means that you need increasingly higher anabolic stimuli to gain or not lose muscle. The older you get, the harder it is for you not to lose muscle. This is associated with another fact. You lose your appetite as you get older, and often we have less desire for protein foods. Other times this is added to multiple drugs that decrease appetite or mood disorders, we don't feel like it, which also decreases them, or other pathologies or problems with dentition that limit the consumption of solids. The conclusion is that many older adults do not even come close to protein recommendations, which accelerates the loss of lean mass and makes them reach the dreaded sarcopenia sooner. Remember, muscle mass and function deficit is linked to increased falls, hospitalizations, mortality risk, and reduced strength. Muscle is health, don't forget it. Fourth, antioxidant effect. Whey protein has a quite interesting and little known antioxidant effect. It contains an amino acid called cysteine, which is the precursor of glutathione, one of the greatest endogenous antioxidants we have in the body. Although you can find cysteine in other protein sources or by supplementing with N-acetylcysteine, in whey protein the cysteine has a biochemical configuration that makes us assimilate it better. Higher levels of glutathione can be very useful in patients with fatty liver, reducing the amount of fat in the liver and decreasing transaminases in the analysis, although in reality they will be useful in any imbalance between oxidative stress and antioxidant capacity, as we discussed at length in the antioxidant video. Fifth, better control of appetite throughout the day due to a decrease in ghrelin. As I've mentioned in other videos, keeping your satiety levels high is key when it comes to losing weight or not gaining it. Satiety levels are controlled by a myriad of incredibly complex hormones, but one of the most important is called ghrelin, which increases when we go a while without eating. Leptin, however, signals satiety and is produced when we have just eaten, telling your central nervous system that you are full and not to eat anymore. What happens in obesity is that there is a resistance to leptin, and therefore you do not receive that satiety signal, or you receive it with less intensity. Interpreting and knowing how to modify these hormones is key to success. As you can see, losing weight is much more than counting calories in and calories out. Sixth, glutamine in the supplement decreases intestinal permeability. A large number of diseases start in the digestive tract. This is a great truth, and on the contrary, many diseases that start elsewhere can also end up affecting the digestive system. Many authors believe that everything starts with the loss of the barrier function that your digestive tract performs, preventing the entry into our blood of different compounds. Problematic elements like bacterial lipopolysaccharide can trigger inflammatory responses in the body. Whey protein can decrease this intestinal permeability. Look at this study where half a gram per kilogram of weight was given, about 40 grams for someone 80 kilos, daily for a month. Well, it decreased intestinal permeability in patients with Crohn's disease, a problem characterized by high intestinal permeability. This improvement in intestinal permeability is partially due to the glutamine content, an amino acid that can be supplemented separately and that feeds the cells of the digestive tube. 7th, better post-workout muscle recovery. The better you recover your muscular system after training, the less risk of injury you will have and the more performance you will achieve. After an intense workout, it's obvious that your muscular strength and physical performance decrease due to fatigue of the nervous system, muscular microinjuries, vascular alterations, and other local changes in the muscle, accumulation of metabolites, and so on. After recovery, however long it lasts, you return to baseline levels of strength and performance or above baseline. Well, whey protein reduces that loss of strength associated with the training stimulus. How does it achieve this? Well, it seems to achieve this by reducing fatigue at the level of the central nervous system, which is really in control of muscle strength, increasing glutathione levels, as we said before, and increasing the ease with which oxygen is transported in your blood vessels. That is, it not only improves muscle recovery, but is also capable of reducing central fatigue levels through mechanisms that we still don't fully understand. Therefore, whey protein should be included in recovery solutions after training and obviously after any competition. In my case, a supplement I always have on hand is the native whey protein isolate with a neutral flavor. So far, the best I've been able to try. Now you know more than you did 15 minutes ago about whey protein and its potential uses. If you found the video useful, share it with friends and family. A big and strong hug. See you in the next video and keep empowering.